Coming home late from working overtime, I stumbled upon an intimate scene involving my husband. Peter, when will you finally get a divorce? I've waited so long for you, it's painful for me. The woman clung to my husband, Peter Einstein, pouring out her grievances, wishing she could merge herself into his body. Peter, lost in passion, could hardly contain himself. Panting heavily, he replied, "Baby, not now. I still need her to help stabilize the company. Once the crisis is over, I'll ask her for a divorce and never be apart from you again." Raindrops fell on them, transforming into a halo of shimmering light. They embraced, kissed, and tangled in the curtain of rain. Lost in the heat of the moment, I put away my phone, turned and walked into the night. One phone call later, I agreed to my older sister's request to return to the countryside and take over our family business. "Who were you talking to?" I hadn't noticed when Peter returned. By the time I realized, he was standing at the entrance to the study, towel in hand, drying his hair. I put my phone away and answered truthfully. Peter frowned slightly. "Your family only has a few measly acres of land. What's there to inherit? Instead of going back to be a farmer, why not pick up more jobs to pay off your debts? My sister wants to expand the orchard and the 50,000 is the investment for our family." I began to explain softly, but he cut me off mid-sentence. "Enough. We've been together for so many years, don't you think I know your family's situation? Don't use supporting your hometown as an excuse for failing to invest properly." His mocking words came one after another. To him, I was just a woman living off his support. When I didn't respond, his tone suddenly softened. "Don't go back to the new house for the next couple of days. Regina's lease is up and she'll be staying there temporarily." Peter's voice was calm, but I felt shattered. That was the house I had purchased specifically for preparing to conceive. I wanted to protest, but he was already looking at his phone with a gentle gaze, walking into the bedroom without sparing me a thought. He didn't care how I felt at all. Watching his retreating figure, a wave of helplessness washed over me. 10 years of love, only to be replaced by someone new. Was this the ultimate fate of love? The next morning, Peter left early. I made a simple dish of toast and scrambled egg to fill my stomach and looked around at the empty house. I knew Peter had gone to see Regina again. Sitting in the living room, I leaned in a corner, scrolling through my messages. A post on Regina's social media caught my eye. In the video, Peter wore a pink apron, his eyes full of affection. He carefully prepared a plate of chicken fettuccine alfredo, a sharp contrast to the tasteless toast in front of me. And the setting for their video? They were in my new home, with its mortgage still unpaid. The caption, full of hearts, tried but failed to hide the truth, and the comments piled up long and endless. "Wow, as expected, Regina. Just graduated 2 years ago, and you already married to a CEO. You're truly our role model. Right? We graduated straight into unemployment, while you went straight to the top. Please, let us have a CEO just as loving." Regina replied, "Don't overthink it, everyone. It's just that Peter is kind enough to take me in." Her vague words only fueled more excitement in the comments. Several acquaintances who knew Peter sent me private messages asking about it. I didn't respond. Instead, I exited the app and liked her post. As expected, a message popped up from Regina. "Madeline, please don't misunderstand. I just wanted to thank Peter, nothing more." I let out a cold laugh, just about to reply, when several voice messages suddenly appeared. I tapped on them and Peter's voice came through. "I only made some dishes for Regina, so why are you being so passive-aggressive? If you do this again, don't blame me for being harsh." His voice was cold and full of irritation. Regina's voice cut in, trying to soothe him. "Peter, don't be angry. Madeline is just worried that I'll steal you away. Besides, I haven't been hurt in any way. You don't have to stand up for me." Peter scoffed. Only a useless woman would be afraid of her husband being taken away. If she had the ability to keep me, she wouldn't worry. Hearing that, my anger flared instantly. I tried to send a message back, only to see a red exclamation mark pop up. He blocked me right away. I hadn't even been given a chance to fight back. My head buzzed with rage and my hands trembled slightly. Once I calmed down, I quickly contacted a lawyer to draft a divorce agreement. From today on, anyone who wants to deal with this mess can have it. I, Madeline Lockster, am done. In the office, I was eager to type out my resignation letter. Before I could even finish, the door burst open. It was Peter's personal secretary, barging in with a package. She tossed the item onto my desk with a thud. I glanced at the bag. It held the gown I had worn at our wedding reception. I frowned, puzzled as to why it was now in her hands. Mr. Einstein is taking Regina to a banquet tonight. He wants you to have this gown repaired, she announced. Aren't you always clinging to Mr. Einstein anyway? This is a great chance to see the difference between you two, so you can stop dreaming about him every day. With that, she huffed and walked out, her disdain palpable. I was used to this attitude. Ever since I joined the company as a mysterious hire, everyone assumed I was Peter's pampered mistress. I tried explaining, but Peter claimed it would cause unnecessary drama and forced me to swallow my grievances. I had thought that once the company stabilized, I'd be able to clear my name. But I hadn't anticipated this. The company wasn't stable yet and Peter had already fallen for someone else. He flaunted his relationship with Regina, even ensuring she wouldn't have to work overtime. Soon, the entire company knew about his new love interest and everyone waited for my downfall. Unfortunately for them, I was ready to leave. I was done playing my part in this twisted love triangle. After the secretary left, I sent my finished resignation letter to HR. Not long after, curious colleagues gathered outside my office. I told you, Madeline was never going to last with Mr. Einstein. How could a plain woman like her even think she could climb that high? See? A more beautiful woman comes along and she has to leave in disgrace. It's a little pitiful, but she brought it on herself. A gold digger trying to win over a prince, who else deserves this more? Their mocking comments trickled into my ears, but I felt nothing. After all, once Peter and I divorced, I'd have no ties to any of them. When I wrapped up my work and packed my things, the moving service called. I rushed home and gathered my belongings. As I watched the moving truck pull away, a heavy weight seemed to lift from my heart. For years of dating, 6 years of marriage,